Hello everyone, over here is a 1955 Cadillac de Ville. This is the first generation Cadillac de Ville. Now, I'm going to tell you all some very important things you all need to know about American cars in the automotive industry. Now, many of you will assume that American cars are just big. That's the only thing that sets them apart from other cars in the automotive industry, for which you guys are correct, but there's a reason behind this. American cars are big because to travel from A to B was not a joke. It was rather a necessity, especially in America, and we're talking back in the 1950s, even before that, and even to this very day. Say you want to go to a supermarket. Here in Belgium, a supermarket is not very far. You will always find a supermarket within 3 kilometers or within 10 kilometers. You will always find a supermarket nearby you. But in North America, it's not a very easy task, guys. The United States of America is a massive country, as massive as this Cadillac de Ville. And this equally means traveling from A to B is quite a long journey. It's like traveling from Brussels to Paris. But imagine doing that on a daily basis, guys. For that, you need comfort. You need something big. You need something that will keep you entertained for a long journey. This was America's response back in the 1950s, everyone. It should be noted that these were the Rolls Royces of the 1950s. These were the cars which European millionaires, billionaires, most influential politicians, they would drive in these cars, guys. I'm going to tell you all a little story about General Motors. The post-World War era was one of the golden years for General Motors, when they were releasing very interesting classic cars, very interesting models, guys, models that were desirable across the world. It was a globe-trotter. They were everywhere. They were like the Rolls Royce of the 50s, guys. They were just the kind of car to have if you want to show your status. But something happened in the 1970s. The competition from the continent of Europe was catching up with North America. France also did something like Citroën. Citroën released the Citroën SM in the 1970s. But the thing is, the competition was too strong in the EU market for the Americans to survive it. Headlights, look at this metal right here. Everything is real, nothing is fake. It's not like the 1980s and the 1990s where everything is just full of plastic. It's not about plastic. That time it was real metal, all of it. Now, a reference to the space age with this. Looks like a rocket. Wouldn't surprise me, guys. Now look at this nice grille. This is something unique and another space age aspect. And believe it or not, it is metal. You look very carefully. It's written Detroit, Michigan, guys. Wow. It came from Detroit. The good old 50s of Detroit, guys. It's really interesting. Now, let's take a look at the engine in detail, everyone. I want you all to take a look at this. Now, it's very interesting how the engine is all simple. It's all easily laid out. And this is another thing about American cars at that time. They were also reliable because they were so easy to work on. Yes, this is a land yacht, but it was still easy to work on. It was not like Citroën with its hydraulic suspension. And close the bonnet very gently, everyone. Now just look at those wheels, guys. Take a look at those Cadillac wheels. Now this white band was very common for the 1940s, 50s, all the way to the 70s even. It's very nice. Look at this. It's all cool. Now we should take a look at the Cadillac de Ville on the side here, guys. This is where things get very interesting. In fact, if you look at it from this angle, it looks a bit like an aeroplane. In fact, American car manufacturers were famous for this, including fins at the end. This was actually, this design right here is a very strong General Motors identity. I know General Motors likes to do this, especially combined with the wheel skirt. This is called the wheel skirt, guys, when the bodywork covers the wheel. Looks very good. It should be noted Chrysler also had something like this going on. Chrysler was actually the fanciest of them all, but when it came to reliability, Chrysler was not always the smartest tool in the shed. At least that's one thing I know about Chrysler. But otherwise, Ford, I have to say that Ford was actually the most humble out of them all. They were always more... I'm not sure what Ford really specialized in, but all I know is that Ford was really like, when it came to design, they were not very interesting. They were all modernized, I'd say. Like they were more focused on simplicity, but technology, I guess. Let's just take a moment and admire those rear lights, guys. Take a look at this, guys. Every time I open, this goes up, guys. This was one of the earliest feature to have something to cover the windows, guys, because when you slide because this is a frameless door, a frameless window. So it's very interesting. They had to do it in this fashion to keep the insulation system. Like, look at this. See? And now the sound of the door, every time I close it or open it, it sounds very American. There's this strong metallic sound, and the door is rather heavy. Beware, guys. Everyone, we're going to explore the interior of the Cadillac de Ville, the 1958 Cadillac de Ville. Now, first impressions, guys. We're gonna sit inside. Wow, feels just at home. I feel like I'm sitting on a couch. One thing I can definitely confirm is that it is very space age. It has this very space age vibe to it. So the seat is very comfortable. That's an undeniable quality. And it goes back to the point I was talking about earlier at the beginning, guys, that American cars before and even today, they have one of the most comfortable seats because cruising in North America is not a luxury. It's not a want. It's a necessity. American car manufacturers always had their gear lever right here, guys. Right here. Now, this steering wheel is huge, but make no mistakes. It's not huge for the looks, but rather because back in the days, power steering was actually not really a thing. So therefore, you needed to have good muscles to turn this bad boy, guys. Like when making a turn or something. Yeah, you definitely needed muscles. And I can confirm, because one time I did drive a classic Citroen without power steering, and it was a nightmare. Oh boy, but it was quite fun, don't get me wrong. And this is your speedometer, your dashboard, guys, your clock right there, and then your fuel gauge and the temperature gauge. Wow, and this is metallic. It's a two-spoke steering wheel. Now, having a two-spoke steering wheel was traditional of the 1950s. In fact, many cars had either single-spoke or two-spoke. It was very rare to see a car with three spokes. I mean, I think the only cars that had it were sports cars, I believe. I'm not really sure, guys. Now, let's just close the door, because I have some more... Oh, the sound of the door. Now, I have some more goodies to show you all. There were some features that not many cars had that time. Like, for example, this is a mirror adjustment. You see this bit of trim right here? This was for the mirrors. Check this out. This was for the mirrors. This is for... Now, it's a bit complicated. I'm not very certain how some of these features work. And in fact, apparently, I'm not sure how far it's true, guys, but it's written vent, fog, ice... Oh, wow. Okay, I believe this car even had a like sort of air conditioning system of that time. Wow. Like, if this is a climate control, this is so cool, and this is just proof that the Americans were pretty much ahead of this entire world. I can make music out of this. Most difficult doors to open. I used to think it's like this, but instead you have to put it up like this. All right? Then gently keep it open because the door likes to spring open. Like that. Just leave it like that. Then you can gently walk out. My opinion of this Cadillac de Ville. Oh, I love it! I love this Cadillac de Ville. You know why? Because it's an American dream. Not in the sense of the 1950s, but I'm talking about today, guys. This car is still the American dream. You know why? Because this car will give inspirations for the generations to come, everyone. For the generations ahead, this car will continue to deliver inspirations. Inspirations to come up with something stylish, inspirations to revive the American dream, everyone. When I think of the United States of America, I want to think of the gorgeous state of Washington. I want to think of the gorgeous universities of Massachusetts, everyone. I want to think of the gorgeous states like California, Florida, and the political city of Washington, D.C. And this is the car that symbolizes it all in a nutshell. But it's not over yet. We still have a long way to go, everyone. And also, in wake of electric cars, there's a good chance Cadillac is going to go back to Daddy and say, hey, dude, go back to the future. Come on, come to the present. I'm joking, guys, but seriously, Cadillac really has to go back to the 1950s and bring this thing back and modernize it, make it safe for today's safety standards and environmental standards and everything. And come on, compete in today's generation. Show Mercedes who is boss. Come on, Cadillac, go show the European competitors who is the boss. Get to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run, everyone. And let me know in the comment section, what is your favorite car from the 1950s?